I'm Wes Hanna.
And I'm Bryn, and we're Solid Ground Farm in Kingston, New York, which is in the Hudson Valley region of the state. And we're a year-round organic, diversified veggie farm. We have currently about 235 families CSA, and we do a year-round farmers market locally, as well as some winter sales on the farm.
We've got about 6 employees during the season, and we try to have a strong focus on sustainability and community building.
I'm your host, Andy Chamberlain, and I take you behind the scenes to learn how farmers are building their business in sustainable agriculture. These farmer-to-farmer interviews cover a wide range of topics, from cropping systems, marketing channels, lifestyle decisions, and lessons learned along the way. This podcast is supported by the University of Vermont Extension and the Vermont Vegetable and Berry Growers Association. It has funding from the Vermont Agency of Agriculture, Food, and Markets as part of a specialty crop block grant. Unfortunately, the end of that grant funding is coming to a close soon. So if you enjoy the show and would like to help keep more episodes coming, please consider making a donation. Any amount is greatly appreciated and can be made on our website, thefarmershare.com/support. Thank you. Today's episode comes to you from Kingston, New York, where we visit with Bryn and Wes of Solid Ground Farm. They're growing on over a dozen acres with 4 tunnels of mixed veg for their CSA. We start off the episode with a tour of their wash pack, cooler, CSA space, and growing areas before pulling up a chair in the kitchen to learn what motivates them to be a produce grower, and how they're building their business to meet their family's needs, and how they can be an asset to the community. I hope you enjoy the show. Thanks for listening.
Welcome.
Yeah, we have been farming since 2015. Wes has been farming the whole time. I mean, since 2010. 15 years.
Yeah.
Not 2015. And we've been here, we started farming here in 2017.
Yeah.
And living here. Our neighbors own the land and we lease it. Mm-hmm. We have a long-term lease, which was one huge thing that makes it possible for us, is that stability of land. And our whole property is about 35 acres, but there's about 7 in the fence. And then
6 or 7.
Yeah, and we lease another 9 just 5 minutes away down the road, which is great because we can cover crop. And the 7 acres is not quite enough. We also have an acre and a quarter under high tunnels and caterpillars, or is it more than that?
Yeah, it's, let's see, 8 tunnels. On the spot.
It's 4.
It's about half an acre, yeah.
I think it's more. Anyway, it's 4 high tunnels and 4 caterpillar tunnels.
Awesome.
It's for the winter. We grow year-round.
So we have that auxiliary land. We have, we're primarily a CSA farm. We've got about 250 CSA members. And then we also sell at the local Kingston Farmers Market. Those are about, equal amounts revenue-wise. Yeah. And then we also do a small amount of restaurant sales. But we've been slowly expanding over the years. We started out with 60 members, and then you just ramped up. We started out doing more farmers markets. COVID caused us to shrink back a little bit. We were going down to New York City doing a Manhattan farmers market, and we actually couldn't get anyone to staff that market 2020, and we decided to just expand the CSA. And it happened to coincide with a huge exodus of city people coming up to the area. So there was that year and the following year, we just had crazy high demands. We had we filled up way early. We had a 60 or 80 member waiting list. It was a good year for the CSA, even though the farmers markets were not. Yeah, we had other staffing was an issue. Farmers markets were obviously not great. But yeah, since then we've been more CSA focused. Our CSA is very local. We have about half our members picking up here on farm, and a lot of those, since we're in a sort of rural area outside of Kingston, we have a lot of members who live in these within a few streets of here, which is really cool. A lot of our neighbors.
We have 235 shares this year. Yeah.
I said 250, but yeah.
250.
And then we have a couple other drop sites in Kingston and Saugerties. So super local. Like I said, we scaled we were able to geographically shrink down because of increased demand, which was really cool.
Yeah, people bring their, like our neighbors, like bring their friends with them, or if they miss a week, they'll like send their neighbors down to get their share, and then those people become members. Is basically what happens. That's the way that we've grown, and it's really nice because we're like, I wouldn't say terrible, but we don't do any advertising because I don't know, there's just like no time for it.
Yeah, we've been lucky to not.
So luckily, it works out here that people are interested in being in the CSA. But it's very flexible. They get to choose what they take home each week, whether they're on-site or off-site. Off-site, we have like a Google form and they pick, and they get a bag packed for them. So a lot of people really, really appreciate that. We get to participate in this program that's called CSA as a SNAP, which I don't know if you have it in Vermont, but I think it's a federal program.
It's
maybe called something different, or
it's funded by
GusNIP.
GusNIP, which is a USDA program,
Yeah.
but it's a Hudson Valley thing. It's administered by the Glenwood Center, and it's something to. I'm sure there are parallel programs in other places, but it's allows SNAP users to be CSA members by like fronting the money to us essentially, and like guaranteeing those sales. So
Yep.
SNAP users only. Well, first of all, they have a 50% subsidy. So like for a $25 CSA share, they're paying $12.50 using their SNAP card, and then and if they don't show, and they're paying week to week, and so if they don't show up, that cost is covered by the fund. So it makes it really nice for us because it like guarantees those sales the way a normally priced CSA does, and it also is really good for the members who get a discount in addition to being able to use their SNAP benefits.
Yeah, we have about like 10 SNAP members.
Yeah.
So hoping to do more. It's been cool the last couple weeks with the SNAP, like the lapse in funding. Like we had more than 30 members donate their last shares, like their last 2 shares of the season. They wanted to send it to the local food pantry. So like last week, the food pantry came and picked up a like significant amount of veggies, and they're coming again this week. So to me, that's like a huge win of like, that's what we're doing it for, is like neighbors being in community with each other, and just people wanting to contribute directly to food security in the area. And because we kind of we brought it up in a newsletter, and then everyone was like, oh my God, yeah, and I'm gonna do something. And now there's CSA members who've encouraged us. We have a winter store, so our CSA is over now, but we do all winter an online farm stand where it opens on Sunday night, you can purchase whatever you'd like, and then you come pick up your bag here. Or now we're gonna do one in Kingston too, and there's gonna be an option to just donate money to a little fund so we can keep donating to the food pantry, because we'd like to do more, but it's like, it's our income, so we can't totally just like donate 100%.
Yeah.
So it's helpful when members are like, we want to support donations. It's small, but it's cool. It's cool that people are pulling together that way. You're going to be talking to our other landlord about leasing more land at the
Yeah,
other
it's probably
property.
premature to talk about it, but yeah, we're in talks about it. Looking for a little more land, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So how much do you have in cultivation? 7 plus 9, 16-ish?
Yeah, probably. I think it adds up to like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
So yeah, we took on those. 9. I mean, we say 9 acres, but like when you actually count up like beds and stuff, it's like 7.
Usable.
But
Yeah.
when we took that over, thinking like, oh, this will really let us like put a lot of land to rest, and then of course, this year we were suddenly using like 80% of it. Like, that didn't work.
I think always.
So now we need a little more land. But yeah, we are. I mean, it is. I'm sure a lot of farms face those like growing pains where we're starting to feel we can't go too much bigger without, even if we had the land access, we can't. We would start needing some major like infrastructure upgrades, like bigger tractor, bigger cooler, stuff like that, if we really want to keep growing.
Big ticket upgrades.
Yeah. So we're happy to just, again, like some more land would be cool so that we can do more cover cropping and stuff, but otherwise I think we're happy to just try to get better where we are rather than continuing to grow. Yeah.
Yeah, we got that grain drill last year, I think, for the first time, and that's really helped with cover
crop seeder.
cropping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every year we make some improvements. We got a new cultivating tractor. We bought a potato digger this year.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
You tripled the size of the barn cooler,
Yeah.
and it's full.
Yeah.
Of course.
He did it just in time to like cram in pallet pins of squash and
Yeah.
cabbages.
Yeah, we had a really good storage. So we put a lot of stuff into storage for the winter sales, and it was our best year. I mean, we've got, I don't know, 20 pallet bins full of like beets and carrots and cabbages, and then another few bins of winter squash, which is, I mean, we always had some, but it's definitely our most significant storage year. So it'll be a good winter as long as our greens production holds up, because that's really what brings the customers in the wintertime. But we'll see. Yeah, should we walk around a little?
Yeah. You mentioned
It's
we
a
do
little messy. So yesterday, or Friday rather, was our last day of the crew. It was like our last sort of official day of the season, and now as of tomorrow, we're in like winter mode.
Yep.
And we do have a smaller amount of staff staying on. Anyway, point is, we were doing a lot of like end of season meetings and stuff, and the farm looks a little messy. Like, we spent the last week pulling in a lot of.
Don't worry about it. Most farms
Farm
look
stuff.
messy.
We did.
The bigger the farm, or the more what they got going on, the messier it is.
We did. We actually had had a better job of getting like fields cleaned up than usual. But we're like, now we have to put everything away. But yeah, we're definitely lucky. Like, we've got this barn is probably like more significant infrastructure than a lot of farms our size have. So we feel pretty lucky.
It was here when we got here. We moved in. There was a farmer here before. Well, there were a couple farmers here before us, but I think this was built in like 2008. For that farmer built it. Oh, I mean the landowners built it, and it's kind of a funny shape, like that all over there, because he had this idea of having sheep and cows, and they would be in there. So like the floor is sunk for deep. What do you call that? Deep bedding. Yeah. And unfortunately, like we want to actually like dismantle most of that and like level the concrete.
Yeah.
And expand our wash pad, which we'll look at in a minute.
Yeah. But yeah, this is our and under there is where we do our CSA distribution.
Behind the truck.
And then those doors through there are our main coolers, and then this big
We'll
room
go over
is
there
our,
after.
Yeah, this big room is like our auxiliary cooler, which right now is just packed full of
I see
root
it.
crops. In the summertime, we use this as our like warm cooler, for like tomatoes and cucurbits. This is our rodent protection system.
It's your what?
Rodent protection,
Oh,
because they would get in there otherwise.
that's actually pretty slick and
Yeah, this is great. It was before that metal would scrape along the floor every time it was open, so this is much nicer.
yeah.
So this has been a slow, we sprayed
can go
foam
in
that
there.
a couple years ago and built this interior wall.
Yeah.
And then, like Bryn said, this year we were like, oh, we need more space, so we just spray foam the rest. And
Like
I
you
guess
said, you know how to fill it.
Oops. Maybe it's like if you build the cooler, the farm will just grow.
Yeah, right. No matter how much space you have, you fill it.
it's true.
It's insane.
How much did that cost
What?
to spray foam that side, or
Oh.
altogether, would you say?
It was like altogether, I don't know, $3,000 at most. He also did some other, he did the other stuff.
Do you know how many square feet it is?
I don't
No.
know.
Okay.
Oh.
The wash pack is.
We also built ourselves a little office a couple years ago, which has been nice. Prior to this, Grandpa and I built it. Yeah. Prior to that, we were using like our living room or dining room, so
Right.
it's been nice to have a real space where.
To separate work from home.
Yeah, and now like
Smidgen.
other people on the team can go and print pack sheets or whatever.
Yeah.
We do, again, it's a little disorganized, but we do have, so this is our irrigation nook, which is pretty well organized during most of the year. We have, this is our, fertilizer storage area, which is pretty empty now. And then this is all of our
Dry
packaging.
packaging, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is our like 14 by 16 wash pack room where we do all the
Somebody left Mickey friends all weekend. Cool.
the table gets set up and there's a stock tank and then so triple wash arugula, lettuce, power greens.
Yeah, and well, okay. Aside from the dog being in here, this is like a 20C like New York State 20C license certified kitchen. So
Oh, nice.
which we do. I know a lot of farms like don't. Yeah, spinner. A lot of farms, don't need this for all we use it for. Officially, is like packing cut greens, washing and packing cut greens. Which I know different people have different opinions on whether or not you need the 20C license. We got we got nicked our first season. Like we got a surprise inspection and we did not actually have the certification because we were selling bagged cut greens to like a local grocery store. So I think that put us on their radar. So anyway,
The inspector saw it on the shelf and was like, "Oh,
we
let me double
so
check."
we did get the. I mean, it didn't take much to upgrade. We have a 3-bin wash system and washable walls and all that.
So you need that certification for that product.
That yes.
Yeah, putting greens in a bag is arguably a value-added process.
It's a
that
funny thing because
requires
I don't know.
20C
I mean,
inspection.
I don't know if it's like state by state.
I think so.
We know a lot of people who do the exact same thing as us and don't get that, have a 20C license. And I know there's like, even talking to inspectors, they seem very, talking to people from ag and markets, there seems like there's a large gray area. But anyway, it was.
In Vermont at least is generally considered just packaged vegetables.
Yeah.
Unless you're like slicing and dicing it.
Yeah. Right, that makes sense.
Even though, like lettuce mix is ready to eat. That's kind of like the determination, but.
Yeah. But anyway, we did get certified, and it's no big deal. It's obviously a good thing to be kept on our toes in terms of cleanliness and stuff. But yeah, so this is the room. So this is what we use primarily for just washing like greens, and then also some packing. We also do some packing out under the awning when necessary, just for like if we have 6 people working, we can't all be in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so this is what we were hoping to build out if we were gonna like push out that way, and because right now we do all of like spraying and dunking out on a wash pad out back. So one day we will have a more cohesive, inclusive space.
Yeah, and what we kind of, when we were designing it, we struggled. One thing that we were going back and forth on a little bit was whether to put a cooler in the barn or not, because we'll show you. We have a cooler under our garage that is, it's adequate, but it's like it's inefficient because it's like you have to carry crates by hand down a hallway through this kind of funny door.
No pallet doors.
Yeah, so it'd be great to have a cooler with a palletized system.
Yeah.
So it's just, loading the market truck in the morning I don't do it, but it's very time consuming. Unloading it is very time consuming. But if you just had everything on a pallet and you could just load from there, it'd save yourself like probably 20 minutes, half an hour at least.
Right.
But then there's this question of the market has one set of needs in a way, and then the CSA is over there, and then so having everything centralized here doesn't make sense for CSA distribution because then you're coming back and forth. So then so should we have 2 coolers? Like maybe, but then I don't know. So it's like a lot of
Yeah, no matter what, no matter what, having the washing and the CSA distribution in different spaces.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
And then you're like, could you have CSA over here? Like, not really. It kind of works pretty well where it is.
Yeah.
But we can show you the pad out back. And
So this is the only part of the barn that is like random storage.
Yeah, this was all here before we got here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is where we do our spray dunk. We've, we just like set up, we have like folding tables and a barrel washer. We set up an easy up tent when we're here. So it's an imperfect system. We we got this pad poured 2 years ago, and I think we kind of held off on going any further in terms of upgrading the space until we had a big picture. But yeah, we are gonna like put on some sort of roof or something, just
Yeah.
'cause it's a little weird. But
Yeah, we would have liked to, in our like grant, we would have brought the wash pack out to like here.
Right.
Yeah, like fill the floor, put some
Yeah.
drains in,
Have like
Yep.
drainage.
and then it could be like one big room with a big door that opens, so you could like go in and out. You could, yeah. I mean, we'll do it. We'll get there.
Yeah,
eventually.
right.
we just it was like 60 grand, and that's like a little much for us to sort
Yeah.
of self-fund right now, but I think we could pare it down and figure out,
Yeah.
because I think we definitely need it. Like, it's hard in the winter. I mean, especially if it's like, it's hard to, if you're not the owner of the business, like standing there in the freezing cold washing veggies is a hard thing to ask
Yeah,
someone else
yeah,
to
that's
do.
not fun for
Wes will
anybody.
do it, but
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just, I don't know, better all around.
So would your goal to be have that whole area meet the food safety certification?
I
Or
think
would it
so,
not need
yeah.
Yeah.
to?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I would need to, but that would be the goal, to have like one big room. Yeah, that had
What
all
are
like
some of the key requirements for that?
like washable walls.
Okay.
Like floor drains, I think. And then like little things about like, not having having
Fairly
stuff off the
achievable
floor.
stuff.
Yeah, like
It's-
stuff that is good hygiene anyway.
Right.
I think
No
I
bare
don't think
wood.
we could have this door officially. Like this door would have to be closed while it's like being 20C. So like I don't know if maybe we'd have some sort of internal wall or something. So you could do spraying out here if you wanted, but also someone could be like washing greens in a professional way inside.
Right. Something that can be closed off from birds and
Yeah, yeah,
the
exactly.
terribly unhygienic dogs and all these things. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, and I mean this is like a nice logical. We can we like harvest into into bins into a
Yep.
pickup truck, and then so this is like where we back up to, so you can unload easy. So it is a nice space. I mean, in terms of the inefficiency of like the coolers and this everything, this is not terrible. Like you can move stuff out. We could move stuff by pallet from here to the awning.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to walk it in by hand into the cooler itself.
Well, and just this pad probably was a nice upgrade.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was. It's funny. Every
Yeah.
time you make an upgrade, you're like, wow, I can't believe we used to do it any other way.
Yeah.
Because, right, we were just on like the gravel before, and it was just,
Yeah. Is
turn
that what
into
you were
mud
doing?
pits and- yeah.
Did you? Oh no, you would do spray.
We'd be like under the tree over there. And
Yeah,
it
it was like in our driveways, washing away our driveway, and we're like,
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like getting truckloads of gravel every winter, being like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been. Yeah, Pat is a great thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually got another. We got like concrete happy. We bought.
Yeah.
This was 2 years ago. So then, this past summer, we paid for another concrete pad down below, which is where we buy in a lot of compost, and we've always for 6 years we just get compost dumped in the same spot every year, and it was just like, and then we go and scoop it by the tractor bucket, and it was just over time it was just a gross mud pit, and it would just anytime it rained it would just be this giant marsh that you couldn't actually, like, you could only go in with the tractor to scoop if it was dry out. Like if it was at all muddy, the tractor would get stuck. So yeah, this year we bought a $20,000 concrete
So
pad,
expensive. We were
and now
kind of
the truck
amazed.
backs up,
Yeah.
dumps it there, and it's great.
And it's not big enough already.
Yeah, as soon as we got it,
Go
the
figure.
concrete guy was like, "This is way too big. You should go smaller."
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. I saw it and I was like,
He
I think we should go
recommended
bigger.
20 by 30, and
Oh.
we went. So it's 30 by 30, and yeah, it's already. Because
Yeah.
we get compost delivered by like a walking floor tractor trailer. So like we have something like 100 yards there,
Awesome.
and it's a lot.
Ah, man.
But yeah.
So yeah, I think this it's kind of interesting. But like bringing out the wash pack would be great, expanding it, but also like putting a cooler in here, I think would be awesome.
Yep.
Like a pallet door one, And but then it's like we lose space for West buys a lot of big round straw bales, and those typically go in here. So then we'd have to like build something over there to cover it. So it just like goes on and on.
Yeah.
Which you could do.
Yeah, we could.
The roof
for sure.
set up, you could extend that to match the other end.
Yeah, I regret if we had thought things through, we wouldn't have put the like. We have a generator over there, and that we just had that like 5 years ago, and I regret it because we could have used this space more efficiently.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely can. And we talked about getting some like real low budget prefab, like metal building that we could just put here for straw bales.
Yeah.
What?
I can just show you the CSA like area. Oh, I'm gonna turn off the lights. I'll be right back.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, obviously we're very lucky, and I'm not like whatever. But I wish also we had a septic system in the barn too, because we don't. That's one of our drawbacks is we don't have a bathroom, so we just the crew just uses our house bathroom, which is just fine with us. It just feels unprofessional in terms of providing a professional workspace. And then also we have in the washroom. When we got here, it was just like that. The wash sink in the washroom just like ran out. There was just like a pipe that went out the building, and so we put in like a French drain, like a dry well. I mean, and it immediately within a year it was like full of sand. So last year we put in like a huge, like 500 gallon dry well that will hopefully last for a while. But yeah. So this is our CSA area.
Okay.
That's just like a little storage room. We store like CSA supplies. That's where we keep all of our like tray, seedling trays and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so unphotogenic.
Yeah, I know. Everything's like gray.
Oh man.
Anyway, we have two coolers. This door and then down there. And so we've been using these as like two different temperature coolers, but I think this year we're actually gonna like take out that interior wall and build one big cooler.
Yeah.
And then where would you put the warm stuff?
In the barn.
Oh, okay.
Daddy, I lost my shoe.
Oh, that's concerning.
We buy in and sell some chicken. People
Yeah.
self-serve.
We act as like a
We have a meat
distributor
CSA.
for another farm CSA.
Oh, nice.
And then this is our main cooler, or the one that gets used all the time.
But I didn't I lost my shoe.
Oh, yeah? Nice.
She's a workhorse. Wes has replaced the air conditioner only like 5 times.
I feel like that.
So this location works well for CSA pickup because it's out of the weather and it's right next to the coolers primarily?
Yeah, people come in, park right along here.
Yeah. cars.
Obviously, cooler proximity is good too. But it is, I mean, despite what it looks right now, we do make it look pretty nice during CSA.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
week.
No.
And dry. Like we'll get a fresh load of gravel, so it's a little prettier. We have this space over here is like a nice little pollinator garden that we. Yeah, it is a nice. And the CSA we have. So on Tuesdays we have like 120 people coming, all within a couple hours.
Yeah.
So it's like it's pretty hectic, and we definitely we run out of parking space on both sides of the driveway there, and this space here might have like 10 different families in it at one time. So it's crazy.
It's busy.
Which is cool. Actually, we had the town redid the road last year, and they actually stopped right at our driveway. So like clearly we represent like a majority of the traffic on the road that was awkward. So CSA wise, like Bryn said, we try to be very flexible. So we have a point system, so members have like 7 or 9 or 5, whatever points, and they can use those to select whatever they want. So when they come here on the farm, they we lay out everything. So we might have like 25 or 30 different things available, and then little signs that'll say like 1 bunch of kale is a point, or 3 pounds of tomatoes, or whatever. So they can just shop for themselves. And then for the offsite, we just use like a simple Google form where I, put available what there is, and then at the end of the night before the harvest, we export it to and create a harvest list, and then put together those pack sheets. So it's all we do it all ourselves, just using Google Docs and OpenOffice, and every year we talk about switching to
Grown by.
We
We might do it this
something.
year. This is our pad. You can see it's covered.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, full.
Yeah, this is so like we also generate a ton of like greenhouse compost from shoots and microgreens and stuff. So we were like, if we had a bigger pad, we could have had a separate like sort of just like try to reuse all that potting mix, which otherwise goes to waste.
Think you could put maybe next year put a pad here.
Yeah, potentially.
This is a CSA Pick Your Own Herb Garden. It's been really nice.
Yeah.
We had like 5 years ago or so, we started one and then made the mistake of planting mint, and the mint took everything over. And then we tried for 2 seasons to like solarize it, and it didn't do it. And then finally
We had like a
Bill-
volunteer CSA member
Yeah.
who was spending hours every week pulling mint, and finally even she gave up, and we built these planters.
a microphone.
But yeah, so we try to.
So note to others: put mint in its own bed.
Yes, don't even.
We try to give the CSA members like a really good experience coming here. So that's just like our perennial herbs.
Yeah.
But we'll have like this upcoming year, this entire field here, in cover crop is going to be member pick your own, and so it's all in addition to the CSA share that they buy. It's like
It's included.
just a free included thing, and so this is where we put flowers, herbs, cherry tomatoes, hot peppers, everything.
But we do pick from it
Good
for the
stuff.
market too.
Yeah, and then it works out well because like CSA members are primarily picking this stuff on Tuesday when they come. So then on Friday when we're harvesting for the market, it's like a perfect, twice a week harvest schedule for things like beans and peas and cherry tomatoes. So yeah, we do get a lot of stuff for ourselves out of it.
But
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I think we don't charge enough.
It is frankly a very good deal.
Yeah, people come. They come out with like armloads of flowers, and there's still plenty. We're just like, man, like.
But it's awesome. I mean,
but it makes people so happy. They come
Yeah.
here. It's like the thing people
Yeah.
talk about. They come, like the connection to the land is what is most rewarding for people. I mean, the food too, but like the people who come here just like cry sometimes. They're so happy when they come
and
down
CSA
here.
members might be here for like an hour, at their pickup.
Oh my
They'll
gosh, more.
hang out down
way
here.
more.
Maybe they play on like the playground stuff we have, and just I think it's a high point of a lot of people's week.
Yeah, it's a whole scene. People come down here and then they like share scissors and they like meet a neighbor they hadn't known. They share. People told me stories of like, oh, I just got this great recipe from this other person I didn't realize also lived on a Shokan Road up there, and I'm gonna make this cherry tomato thing. I was like, it's a whole world
Yeah.
down here in the Pick Your Own, and it's a
Yeah.
lot of people's like main experience of like gardening and nature. It's really nice.
You may have said it, but I might have missed it. Is that the pick your own opportunity an option, or do all CSA members have that option?
Everyone has it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's primarily utilized by the people who pick up on farm,
Uh-huh.
but even people who pick up in Kingston are welcome to drive here.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing about the flexibility is like people aren't. I mean, if people have like one official site that is like in our system where they pick up, but week to week they can switch wherever they want. So we might have
okay.
somebody. We might say in our newsletter like, yeah, the cherry tomatoes are going really strong, and so we'll have somebody from Kingston say that they want to like switch to the farm pickup so they can get some tomatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're small. I mean, 235 is a lot, but it's small enough that we still can be like very flexible. Like we might spend an hour a week on average doing emails and responding, making changes in the system, but it's not too much of a burden, and
Right.
we know all our members. Like we can, like when we're packing bags, sometimes like Adri, who works for us, will be like, oh, I see like this person. Normally they pick up over there, but they put down this site instead. Like we should like make sure it wasn't a mistake, and I'll text them real quick and just ask you. Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
it's cool to have a close,
The personal touch.
Yeah. So yeah, we do. Like I said, we do a lot of microgreens and shoots and stuff. Looks a little dingy in the Lagasan, but this is actually the shoots are how we started. Like before we were on this land, we started solid ground farm as a shoots and microgreens farm, and then we expanded once we got here. So this is like a really nice sort of backbone to the CSA. On average, we probably get, probably if you think about like points per week, like if we have 230 members times 7 points, that's whatever 1,400 points, whatever it is. Probably 10% of them, like 10% of those points are generated in the greenhouse, which for like a small farm with like space constraints is really nice that we can produce so much value out of this space.
And
Are these cages for rodent control?
Or squirrels or rodents or something. They really like the sunflowers. So we try, we have traps, and obviously we like fill in holes when we find them, but man, they are persistent. So the cages are the only sure thing.
This spring, you guys did the whole like digging out the edge and putting a hardware cloth at an L underneath to try to.
And it held them for like 6 months, and then at some point, I think they realized they can just like dig hole, like they just chew holes in the plastic.
They go deeper.
So,
Right.
So it's.
These are nice though. This version is nicer than the old one.
Yeah, we're gonna. I think one of the many improvement projects for the winter is to build more of these, because it's. It's obviously depressing to come out and see like, oh, something got into the, this round of spicy microgreens, and we just have to toss it all. It's a huge waste.
Yeah, right.
So more cages. It's a bummer. I wish we could make the space actually animal proof, but yeah, I think we're gonna make more cages. We do a big seedling sale in the fall, so that's part of what these like silly hanging system is.
Okay.
Just for like the month of May, this space is so filled that it's just insane. Like you can barely get down the aisles. The hanging things are full. Sometimes we've even had to like tuck things onto the ground under the shelves.
Takes like an hour and a half to water.
Yeah. The seedlings have been nice. We've been doing that almost since the beginning, and it's been slowly growing, and it's good. We started out focusing more on like selling at the farm, doing like a big seedling sale at the farm. I think we're sort of realizing that the farmers market is a much easier way to sell them, and I think we've kind of set ourselves up well as like the main seedling seller in May. But there's a lot of work, and there's a lot of costs with like the biodegradable pots and all the
do cow pots.
Yeah.
We started as like a microgreen and shoot operation in 2015, I think. Before we had any land, Wes was working at Hardy Roots Farm, which you might know, BR and Lindsay shoot, and we borrowed space in their greenhouse. They're very nice to let us have, like Wes built a table in the back, and that's where we would grow them. And that's how we kind of started, and we applied to the Kingston Farmers Market and got a spot there just for shoots and microgreens. And we were like a very tiny operation, and we just kind of hustled and did that. I'm not farming full time anymore, and I wasn't at that point either. So Wes was really doing it. On Friday night, he'd like bring home all the trays of everything.
Like load them up in our van.
Yeah, bring them
drive
home.
the trays home, and then I would stay up until like 1 in the morning, cutting and packaging.
Yeah, and then
we would just like put stuff in our refrigerator.
Yeah, it was
didn't have a
definitely
cooler.
not like 20. Like we should have had a 20C, and we didn't. But we were very clean. But like, our refrigerator, we would just. It's so funny, but we just, and we weren't. That's all we were allowed to sell at the market, and then we were in north of here at this amazing place called Pathfinder Farm with a mentor, Jimmy Bulich, who I got to graze his cattle, and we got put up a greenhouse and had a garden there, and we did a combo of, we started a CSA in 2016 with a combo of our veggies and Hardy Roots veggies, and started a small membership. And then in 2016, we were trying to find our own land, and we were in Catskill north of here, and we entered into like 3 different negotiation conversations with non-farming landowners who had good farmland, and each one of them fell apart because of just the totally unrealistic expectations of the landowners of like, our rent would be like $7,000 a year so they could cover their taxes, or like we would have a really, you know, a $50,000 deer fence that, you know, looked pretty and made it look like
Yeah.
a park, or like when they realized like, oh wait, you're going to be here early in the morning with like a tractor and you're going to have piles of compost and all, they're like, no,
Yeah.
we don't actually want that on our estate. And we're like, why do all of these non-farming people have the best farmland and we can't use it?
Or
and
in some
like,
cases, it was like somebody, you know, hayed like 500 acres of his land.
Yeah.
And he was just like, it's not worth like the liability of leasing you 2 acres
Yeah.
and like all the traffic, you know, just like
it could be that.
it's such a hassle,
Right.
that it's just not worth the money,
Yeah.
which I respect.
And we had God, it was really hard. We almost just quit because after enough of those conversations, you're like, I guess there's nowhere for us to go. But then this property, our dear friend was leasing here, and she was transitioning out of farming, and she just encouraged us to take over her lease. And so we were really lucky. We did, and it's been awesome being here. Just with the community of people who are interested in eating local food and coming to the farm, and the farmers market's great. It's been really
So
been
this
able to
property
support
was
us.
in veggies before you were here.
Yeah, there've been at least 3 farmers that we knew prior
Yeah.
to us. So we're so far we've held the record, I think, for the longest tenure here, and obviously we plan to be here forever. But yeah, I don't know.
They were used to the tractors and the compost piles
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
point, which is good.
Yeah, our neighbors are great. I mean, there's only like 7 neighbors on the street. Half of them are CSA members, and everybody's very appreciative and welcoming of us as like the farm on the street.
And
Yeah.
it's great land. I mean, it's along the Esopus Creek, and you probably came along Hurley Mountain Road,
Yeah.
and you were driving along those endless farm
a
fields.
lot of farms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's gorgeous
There's the
land.
Davenport family who's been here forever. They have a lot of that land. The Farm Hub is a 1,600-acre farm along there. And it's all this like beautiful prime soil bottom land. And our land is like uphill a little bit from it, but we're still the same amazing farmland. You can like look at the satellite, and it's just very cool. This long strip of beautiful farmland here that we get to be part of. But it is, you know, it's small here in the little valley. And,
Yeah.
but so that's a challenge, is
Yeah, we learned one thing about the valley.
having
is-
2 proproperties
Yeah, there's obviously
Yeah.
the logistical hassle of that.
with all of our wash pack here and infrastructure here, and so the carting back and forth is like, we're figuring it out.
Yeah.
Better. We used to have a piece of 3 acres in Kingston 20 minutes away. So Wes was hauling the tractor, having to like go out at night, put it on the trailer, and get it all ready late at night to go there a couple times or once a week. And then we're paying our crew 4 people to like drive basically 40 minutes a couple days a week. It was just like, it
That's
wasn't
dumb.
working.
Right.
Yeah. You were going to say about the land, the valley.
Oh, no, I don't know. I was thinking one takeaway we've learned, I guess it's obvious, but like we really like threw a lot of different irons in the fire as we like figured out what would work. So like Bryn said, I mean, I think it's noteworthy that like we started out, even once we got here at the Kingston market, we started just with the shoots, because that's what the market was looking for, or willing to take on a shoots vendor, and they didn't need a veggie vendor. And you know, if we'd applied it as a veggie vendor, we would have not been accepted. So we sort of got our foot in the door, and then a couple years later, when we heard they were looking for a veggie vendor, then we like were able to get, you know, to expand to that. And yeah, we did that. But then, like I said, we did the city market. We also
Oh yeah, the
there was
city
like
market.
the Poughkeepsie Farmers Market that we did
That's
for
terrible.
a season, and we also tried. You know, we did a CSA distribution in Catskill, which is like 45 minutes away. Oh, we also did a CSA distribution in the city, in Washington Heights for 3 years.
at a school.
So we've like tried a lot of things that failed, like, and we've sort of, you know, winnowed out and figured out what things are successful.
I think that's a great thing about you, though, is you're always like, you always want to try the hard things. Like, I really did not want to ever do a city market. I was just like, are you kidding? Getting up at 4:30 in the morning and then coming home at 8 at night, and like, it costs like what, $800 just to even go, and how much money do you have to make? And Wes was like, no, we gotta like, let's try it, and did it for a number of years. And I think you can't. It's better to do it and learn that it's not working, or learn that it is working ideally, than to just
Right.
not try things if you have the energy and the potential to do it. Like, better it's like better to love and have lost than never have lived at all. Like better try the market and it not work out, and then you have you
Then you know,
through
and
the
you learn other
experience,
things along the way.
it helps like hone your like direction of like, okay, now what do I want to do, and get a real sense of your costs about it. But COVID was like a huge reason we used to go to the city and do a city
I just
market.
said all this, yeah.
Oh, you did that about the farm store?
Oh, no, not that part.
And so the reason that we started doing our online farm store was because of COVID, and it gave us the sort of willingness to try, because we had just assumed like, oh, it's like not enough people would be interested, or I don't remember exactly what all it was, but then we did it and there was a lot of interest, and so it's great because it's like a farmer's market essentially. It's the equivalent of a good decent winter farmer's market, but is here on the farm, and we get to keep a relationship with a lot of our members over the winter, even though we don't want to do a winter CSA because it's like too stressful, I guess, or I don't know, maybe you could say why, but
I mean, the farm stand is nice because we don't have to overcommit. You know, in
yeah,
mid-January, if it's a really cold week, we can just say like, we're just not going to harvest any greens this week, and
Yeah.
it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like I'm letting anyone down. It's fine. Other noteworthy things when we got here, I mean, as a lot of farms do, the previous folks had just had like fields and beds haphazard to try to like maximize space.
Yeah.
And we decided like, even though we actually lose some space, we like everything is all like 200-foot rectangles. So all the beds are 200 feet, which is just so much better. So we don't have to like wonder, like when you pull out a piece of row cover, you don't have to wonder how long it is. Like everything's 200 feet. We can reuse sprinkler lines, anywhere. I mean, obviously that's a minor thing, but to me that was like an innovation.
And for planning too.
But yeah, so we've got 4 high tunnels. Like this is, they're all Rimmel, well, except for the one that was here when we got here. They're all Rimmel high tunnels.
Ellie, wait a second.
And then 4 Caterpillar tunnels that we got from, it's the Farmer Friend design.
Yep.
And we wanted them to be 200 feet long so they could be on our beds. So they don't sell 200-foot Caterpillars. So we buy 200-foot tunnels.
Yeah.
And then we just build, connect them to make one big one. So yeah, in the wintertime, all 8 of those structures are mostly Salanova, spinach, kale, and chard. And then we will dedicate, this is an experiment to do like green garlic that we're hoping will be available much earlier than our like field green garlic. Mm-hmm. And then, we also have bok choy and whatever, other random small greens. And then in the summertime, those 8 structures are all tomatoes, cukes, ginger. This year, we've always done like a small amount of ginger. This year we expanded and we actually did an entire tunnel, like 600-foot beds of ginger, which was really good. I mean, all fall we were just selling. We never ran out. Like we had it, and in fact yesterday we sold the last of it yesterday. We've gotten to the point where I think we figured out the humidity control, so we'll harvest it and control it, or we'll keep it in the cooler for like 2 or 3 weeks, which is nice. That's a really good seller. I haven't worked out the exact, I don't know like exactly what's the most profitable for high tunnel space, but I feel like we probably get, I don't know, probably 12 to 1,500 bunches of ginger, which is, like, I don't know, $8,000 or $10,000. That seems like a good use of a high tunnel.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Those numbers are probably optimistic.
Did you do
but I'm sure 6 or 8 at
You did a
least.
whole tunnel?
Yeah, this year we did 6 beds.
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
we sold really all of it.
Yeah, we sold the last of it yesterday.
That's the best part. Sell whole tunnels more than anything. That's good.
Yeah, and it's kind of a funny thing at the people at the we give it in our CSA as a point also, so people get a good deal on that because the point is really between it's like $4.50, but a bunch of garlic.
To the member,
Yeah.
the cost is $4.50.
But a bunch of garlic ginger is $6.50 or six, so
At
they
the
get a
market,
little
yeah.
bit of a deal. And at the market, it's kind of fun because people get it, and then it has a long green, so they put it in their bag, and people like walk around
like
with
a
this
flag.
flag,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
other people
And
see
other
it,
people,
and they're
"Where'd you
like, "Where
get
did you get
that?"
that?" And like, "Oh," and I noticed there's another vendor that does that with fennel, where they leave the tops on, and because it's a similar thing of like, "Oh, where'd you get that?" "Oh, over there." You got it. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
smart.
funny. Yeah, big long showy things are great for markets.
Yeah, like Bryn said, we do a lot of we're buying a lot of straw mulch just from a local farm, and we try to do a lot of straw mulching. We've been experimenting. Like truthfully, we do some, or whatever. I feel like we do the standard amount of plastic mulch. I don't love the plastic. We do sometimes get feedback from members who don't love it, but it is necessary. Like we do plastic on all of our solanums, cucurbits, and our kale, just because the kale's in the ground so long that it's just it gets awful if we don't.
Yeah.
We do some landscape fabric. I mean, in some cases we use landscape fabric between plastic aisles on like vining, like cucurbits and sweet potatoes. We also do a little bit of just landscape fabric, like our caterpillar tunnels with the tomatoes. We have like, holes burned. This year we experimented for the first time with like a little bit of a no-till thing that was spearheaded by our farm manager Dominic, and it was a success. Though I think we can upgrade it. But we had a rye vetch bed that we should have crimped it, but we weren't planning ahead, so we mowed it instead, and then we had did a no-till, like we just used like a single shank. To cut a trench, which we fertilized and then planted into. And it worked pretty well. I mean, eventually the weeds did take over. We should have had like a thicker cover crop pack or something, but it was fun. I mean, the point is we're trying to figure out ways we can reduce the plastic while also still keeping the weeds at bay. We have a couple cultivating tractors, which we use for a lot of our small, like lettuces and baby brassicas and stuff. We do try to cultivate every week, but oftentimes it's just, for one reason or another, we don't get to things, and plastic is obviously really nice.
And we have, for cultivating, we have some old G's.
Yeah,
And an Ogun, which we didn't realize we were actually like a guinea pig for that one.
Yeah, do you know
Unfortunately.
Ogun?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, on the record, it's fine. I sort of wish we had gone with
Tillmore.
But
It's more trusted.
But yeah,
tested
it's
brand.
been all right. We a few things broke on it. We've had to fix some things, and
Wes has redesigned things, and they've been like, "Can you send us?"
All right. Well, the folks at Ogan have been
they're
nice and responsive.
Yes.
No, but I know their model, we'll say, is very more DIY.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I were a welder, because then I feel like we would have been better at fixing things.
Yeah,
it was
had to
annoying.
Get
like
things welded
yeah.
for us, so now you have it.
yeah,
working,
so we were
but-
like it was like down for a month when something
When you needed
needed
it.
to get welded,
Yeah.
and we just couldn't get around
And
to
you needed to cultivate.
Yeah, exactly. And so we have a couple of the Alice Chalmers G's, which are really fun.
One's always
but-
broken.
I mean, they're definitely fitting. Like they're not something that I think like the average person can just jump on. Our crew can't all jump on them the way they could with the Ogun, and they also just don't have the clearance, so you can't go over tall stuff. But yeah, we do. Speaking
Get
of
back
that,
to the house and
something-
get rained on.
something we've been like toying with, or I don't know, struggling with, is like we try to. So we have, like I said, we had 6 full-time people this year.
What's this mix here?
This is just rye vetch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, oats peas. And then, the 2 main things we do are anything that comes out of production early enough, by like early September, we do oats peas. And then at that point, we then switch to rye vetch mix for the goal of getting almost everything covered by the end. Yeah. So like we were seeding, I mean, we have some, those beds over there, like that was rye vetch that we just seeded a couple weeks ago, which is, it's like barely going to be germinated by the time winter hits, but we figure
but this
it'll.
is a huge stand going into winter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got winter rye. It's
Yeah.
an inch tall, so
Oh, sorry.
so that's nice and luscious.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is where the CSA Pick Your Run will be next year. Oh yeah, also notable, we do strawberries also. That's been something we've been like
Strawberries?
we've been slowly upping. And we do like 6 200-foot beds. It's not crazy. But that is a nice like boost at the market. We've been realizing like you can kind of like look at the farmer's market revenue is like, there's a big boost for the seedling sale in the beginning, and then early summer we get like a big strawberry boost, and then we get a big tomato boost. And those are like really our anchors, and then obviously people are buying salad and kale and stuff. But
I was thinking about that when we were thinking about the last bunch of weeks and why it hasn't been as good. I think the salad is one definitely a significant contributor.
yeah, we had some due to like heat and lack of rain and stuff in early fall. We didn't have a ton of greens coming into the late fall, which was a bummer.
Yeah.
For the CSA and for the market.
People come, they ask for them. They like really come to us for that. But
Yeah. I'll be like,
we do the best.
don't you want these turnips instead?
Well, you kept the power greens and like you had some amazing arugula too. But
Yeah.
people also, they like want like the lettuce.
Yeah.
You know, the special lettuce mix.
What I was going to say before is we have 6 team members during the year, and we try to like have a mentality where everybody's involved in everything. So everybody gets trained on the tractor, which is good. I know that makes it appealing for prospective employees to know that they'll get tractor experience. It's also good for us so that anyone, like I can just say to anyone, hey, could you go, mow that thing without having to, have the right person be available. And then we do have a person who was like a farm manager or assistant manager who was sort of in charge of things day to day. And then we also had a crew leader underneath him who was there just to make sure everybody was always on page, even if he was unavailable, and just, be a pace setter and stuff. So we've been dealing with or evolving our like sort of management hierarchy systems, and it's cool. It definitely is a funny. There are some drawbacks, like there's still some things that not everyone can do, like operating the Gs, and I don't know. Anyway, we're trying to provide a well-rounded experience to give people a good time. This year we participated in a program also administered by the Glenwood Center called the Hudson Valley Apprenticeship Program, and it was because like Glenwood and other nonprofit farms in the region have really nice year-long apprenticeship programs. So they wanted to like give the benefits of those apprenticeships to farms like ours. So the program, it has funding we had 2 employees who were participating, and they worked with us full time, but then on average once every other week they would go to some educational event at Glenwood or somewhere at another farm where they covered everything from like business planning to like tractor repair, and it was on paid time but paid by the program. So it was really neat. It allowed us to sort of advertise a really well-rounded apprenticeship, but we didn't have to do all the educational work.
And I thought it was cool too because they had cool programming around management for.
Oh yeah, that's right. And they also
too.
the
really
apprenticeship, the Hudson Valley Apprenticeship Program as a whole gave us as managers some training and also sort of held us to a higher standard. Like somebody from Glenwood came out every few months to sort of have a long chat and check in. So it was nice. It kept us accountable.
What does sustainable farming mean to you, and what are you doing to achieve it?
Okay, good question. Well, I guess sustainable means both ecological and social. So from the ecological side, we're certified organic. We also are proudly certified by the Real Organic Project. And we have a goal of trying to improve the land every year rather than extracting from it. We do a ton of, in addition to our regular fertilizer regimen, we spend like probably $5,000 or $10,000 a year buying in like compost and other amendments. And we are not a no-till farm. I would love to figure out ways we can reduce tillage. We do have a spader, which we bought a few years ago, and that has largely replaced the rototiller as like a final bed prep. So yeah, we don't do much like moldboard plowing. So we try to be conscientious of soil disturbance and whatnot. Although, to be clear, we are not or I wouldn't even call us low till. We're just aspiring to be lower till. And we also, I mean, from the social level, I mean, all the stuff we talked about, just like building community, I think is really important. We have over the years developed really close relationships with our CSA members, and we feel like the farm is a significant part of the community in a way that I'd like to think it's building, part of building a larger community. Yeah, in terms of like other sustainability things, I mean, we are trying to make this a place where or at least I can like work full time in a way that compensates me enough, and also our employees. That's, as I'm sure many farms struggle with, like that's a difficult area. We try to keep our prices low. Our goal really is to be accessible to everyone, and like when we go to the farmers market, we set our prices, like we're not trying to get like a big like certified organic premium. Like we want good food to be accessible. So we try to keep our prices as low as possible. We often will like go to the local grocery store and just confirm that like our prices are actually cheaper than theirs. But it does come at the cost of like, we don't have a huge surplus income. So we try to, I think our wages are on par for the region. We pay, like this year our starting was $20 an hour. We offer a bonus. We have paid time off and stuff, but it's not, I recognize that it's difficult for that to be like a career position. And, the money, there's no like, nobody's getting rich. I mean, I don't make much more than that. I think if you actually like add up my hours and divide it. So yeah, we're still trying to figure out how we can be more socially sustainable to keep staff. And this year, and that is, I should say, part of why we started doing the winter production, is we wanted to be able to offer year-round employment. So this year we're going to have 3 out of our like staff of 6, 3 people are going to stay on. 4 including myself, and keep employed through the winter. So that's really great. But yeah, I mean, I would love to figure out ways we can, I don't know, have some sort of other benefits, healthcare, stuff like that. That's a bit unsustainable, or it's a bit out of reach right now.
Unachievable.
Unachievable, yeah. And housing is a huge problem. I mean, it's probably like this everywhere, but Mid-Hudson Valley in Kingston is just, it's so difficult to live here. When we moved to Kingston 10 years ago, and like a third of the houses were vacant, and you could like buy a house for $40,000. And now rents are, a couple $1,000s a month. And it's made it hard for us to attract people. Like it used to be, we would get applicants from all over when we posted jobs, and it was no big deal for them to move to Kingston to work here. But now it's, the people who, we've had great employees every year, and I think we're so lucky. But we've noticed like they're not coming from far away. They're not moving here. And if they do, they see what like cost of living is, and reconsider the job. So like most of our folks are people who are already living here and have figured out some housing solution. But yeah, housing is a huge issue. I wish we could have on-farm housing. We don't. I mean, that's both a huge cost, and I have no idea what like the zoning is and stuff like that. I think that's unrealistic. But
Whenever we have people who apply and they're like, oh, they're from another state, and they're like, yeah, I'll just find housing when I come. We're like, oh man, we're just like,
no.
yeah, like
start,
please, like look around before you come in.
yeah, it's really tough. But people figure stuff out. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, we've been really lucky. We've had every year we've had fantastic people, and we do have good retention. And that's something I assume this is seen across the board. But when we started farming 15 years ago, it was kind of standard that in this like small local farm organic movement, you worked for a season and then you moved on, and there wasn't a lot of. I felt like when we started farming, it was rare for someone to stay at a farm more than a year as just a crew member, not like management.
Right.
And yeah, since then there's been more. Like we've had this year, for example, we had 4 people return from last year. I'm sorry, 3 people returned from last year. 3 out of 5 from last year. So that was great. And like we've had one person who's been here. This was his 9th year.
Wow.
Another person, this is her 4th year. So we've been lucky to have good retention, but it's an issue. I mean, personally, that like the whole hiring process is my least favorite. Like if we were to ever radically change things or stop farming, it would just be because of the stress of constant hiring. And like right now, as I think about the spring, like we just had to say goodbye to people who, some of whom might come back, but probably, some won't. And now thinking about like, oh, we're gonna have to hire new people, and then it's just like, are they gonna be good? Is it gonna be terrible? Like, what's the learning curve gonna be? It's stressful.
How do they fit in with people who already know what's going on and each other? And,
yeah. Like I said, we've been lucky so far, but I feel like the human, the HR side of things it's like it's not something people think about when they think about like what it means to have a farm.
No, people don't get into farming for the HR.
Yeah. In a nutshell, that's sustainable farming.
What are you excited about in this next year?
Well, let's see. I mean, as we mentioned, there's the possibility of some additional land. So that would be really cool. And even if that doesn't come through, I think we are going to keep feelers out to try to see if we can expand our production base a little bit. I am excited about that new wash pad. Wash space as a whole. We at the end of on Friday we did like end of year the exit interviews with everybody, and one of my questions was like, if you were in charge of, if you had $20,000 to make some upgrade to the farm, what would you recommend? And like 4 out of 5 people said like washroom. So that makes sense. I didn't realize there were some. Yeah. I thought there would be like some other thoughts, but everybody's like, yeah, washroom is so inefficient. So we're gonna do something, even if we don't do like our big unified comprehensive washroom expansion, we'll at least, like I said, put a roof and make that wash pad a little bit more of like a real space. I don't know. Every year we, like I mentioned before, we're thinking about, we'd like to continue toying with the no-till system, thinking about maybe trying it out next year on winter squash or cucumbers, and yeah, hoping we can reduce plastic usage there.
Do you have any long-term plans to make any significant changes to the business model, or keep things relatively similar at this point?
I think we're pretty happy where we are. The CSA is really nice, both in terms of obviously the guaranteed revenue and the community, just feeling like we're very integrated into the local community. The Kingston market is like a no-brainer to stay in. When we joined, it was like a mid-tier market, I think, and at this point, I feel like it's probably one of the biggest Hudson Valley farmers markets. I think it's the biggest. Yeah, it's great, and we are so lucky to have. I mean, we were so fortunate to have gotten our foot in the door 12 years ago. when we started doing shoots. We're like the bigger. There's whatever 8 veggie or produce vendors, and we're one of the larger ones, even though we're organic. And yeah, it's great. I mean, it's 10 minutes down the road.
We have 3 tents.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the bigger tents a lot.
Yeah.
We're probably like, truthfully, we're not gonna like drop the restaurant sales altogether, but it has been over the years a smaller and smaller percent of what we do. I think maybe with COVID or other things, a lot of places closed, or a lot of maybe like dropped how much local purchasing they were doing. So that's been fine. We've made up for those sales in other ways, but I feel like in the beginning restaurants were like maybe a quarter of our sales.
I think you have to have a personality too. Like I think chefs really want to talk about varieties, and they want they want the very specific, everything the same size and like tiny and whatever, and we're just kind of not. That's like not our
truthfully, we kind of approach the restaurant sales as like, when we have a lot of things, we'll sell. Like, if we have a ton of salad or arugula, we'll sell it, but we're not growing primarily for the restaurants. It's more when we've already satisfied our CSA. I mean, I feel like you can't do a CSA and also be focusing on something else too strongly, because then you're really not giving your CSA members what they paid for, in my opinion. But yeah,
I think a next milestone is, we have kids, and it's important to spend as much time with them as we can while they're here. So I think still continuing to work on balancing like Wes's time, because you make a plan to be like, okay, we'll have someone be able to rotate market Saturdays, but it just always has ended up that like Wes has had to do it every Saturday, and we all go, and but it's just like it's fun and we like it, but it's also having that demand always on your schedule in addition to everything else is just it gets hard after a while. So it's been a big transition having kids. Wes really had to cut back a lot of the time. Couldn't work until 8 o'clock every night anymore, and had to be done at 5 every day. And that's been great, but it's still kind of like, okay, now how can we even get more family time?
What kind of adjustments have you made in order to make more family time?
We've had really great staff, and so some of it has been just learning or realizing that we can delegate more work to the staff, more managerial work, so that I don't need to spend a lot of evening time like making plans for the next day. And otherwise, like we've just constant equipment upgrades. I think that as we gotten better with like our cultivating tractors, it's reduced the workload. I feel like I remember times when I would, just because we were so behind everything, I would be like out at night with a headlamp on weeding or hoeing, and like I definitely don't do that anymore. And yeah, maybe some of it also is just a realization that we have to let some things go. So now, I'm not gonna. I do a lot of work at night after the kids go to bed, but I'm far less willing to give up on Sunday's my only day off, and I'm far less willing to say like, okay, I'm just gonna work this one Sunday to get some tractor work done. Now, I used to do that, but now Sundays are definitely off limits.
Line in the sand.
Yeah. And if that means that we don't get a field prepped in time, that's fine. We'll just accept it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think having kids and those boundaries made you step up your game in the way you've been saying of sort of like, this is not acceptable, so I have to figure out a solution, because I have to be done with work earlier, which is kind of a nice side effect, I guess.
Yeah. Forces you to reprioritize and think about what you're doing, yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now after 15 years, what do you wish you knew when you got started?
We definitely have made a lot of like false starts on like sales channels, but that wasn't. Those were just learning lessons. Like we raised chickens for like 5 years, and then we finally realized that was just so much work, and we weren't it wasn't a strong enough focus that it was like actually profitable. And so, there were things like that when if I could talk to myself back and then, I would just say, don't even try doing chickens unless you really want to go all in.
Yeah.
But I don't know, what's your answer?
Oh, I was gonna, if something like I wish I'd known it. The one thing is that I think in the beginning we were very harsh and critical of the concept of sort of like any food business, a farm needs investment from outside people or friendly community members or whatever it's going to be. And I think we had this impression of ourselves both being like, we'd paid off our student loans ourselves by working, and we're very like self sufficient, but being basically like, we don't come from like intergenerational wealth or anything. We just like went to college, which was great and an amazing privilege, paid off the loans, and then we were just like sort of at square one, being like, okay, so we want to farm, but we want to like build everything like ourselves and like, with what we had. And it took and we would kind of look at maybe like, there'd be like nonprofit farms that would kind of be like, like they have all these like benefits that like are, we kind of like scoff at it a little bit. But now I've realized that every single farm has its own story. And like the tradition in our country is that farmers that were our age getting into farming would inherit a farm or like step into a farm business. And we didn't have that. We're these like landless first generation farmers thinking that we were like in the same, like that we had this individualistic sort of vision of how to make the business succeed. And so just, I wish I could tell myself like look for partnerships more. And we did finally. That's like the thing that helped us succeed was like the grace of finding this land with a landowner who's very supportive of what we're doing and giving us a long-term lease that's very generous. What do you say?
A lot of networking.
Yeah,
we made the connection with like a local cafe in town, and that they now host, a third of our members. Like we have a CSA distribution at a cafe.
Yeah.
And we were lucky to have like networked into our way into that relationship.
Yeah, and like the more, just like take yes for an answer sometimes. If someone's willing to help you out and it feels right, like just like do it, because the more for me, this work is about relationships, and the more relationships you have, honestly, the better. And I think it's good advice early to think about it that way. Like, trying to say yes when opportunities come your way and build relationships, especially if you're a landless first generation farmer. And like also to understand that like you do need a fair bit. You need some, if you don't have your own money, you need money from somewhere to help with getting started. And it can be from a landowner, but just make sure it's not a like predatory venture capitalist situation, because anyone who wants a return on their investment, I would say just like don't, because it's not, especially people with a lot of money who are looking to a farmer to pay them like money back for their investment. It's kind of like backwards anyway.
They likely don't understand quite how a farm works.
Yeah.
The economics behind it.
Yeah, like they heard a TED talk or something, but like realistically, the way our food system is, it's so subsidized and geared toward big commodity crops, and like the way we're trying to farm, it's like we're really at a disadvantage because we do get like some government grants to help us with our high tunnels and things like that, but we're making all these investments that have no like we compost and we cover crop and all this stuff that we do because it's right and ultimately it's the best thing for the land, and it's the ecological way to do it, and we believe in it. But like we don't get any money back. That's investments we just make. We just make those investments, and the return is hopefully like healthier crops, and people join our community because they believe in what we're doing. But there's no like government subsidy that's like, here's 10 grand for you to use compost and cover crop and things like that. And there's no crop insurance for people our size, and so there's a lot of disadvantages. But there is, but not really.
Yeah. But yeah, also, we've definitely done more and more. Like, we've tried to build a lot of community and get to know, like, do as much networking as possible. We We've always been involved in the Hudson Valley Young Farmers Coalition, which is a brand or a chapter of the National Young Farmers Coalition. But we've also Bryn's is on the board of the Marbletown Land Preservation Committee. I'm on the advisory board for the Hudson Valley CSA Coalition. I was elected as the I was just reelected as our FSA county representative, and we're also we went to our first Farm Bureau meeting this year. So we've been realizing
Trying
those,
to be involved.
yeah, and trying to make those connections. But wait, I had a better answer than I'm sorry, a better than my first answer. I feel when we started farming, the idea of personnel management seemed very. I was we didn't get into this for that reason, and we both came from a very labor rights organizing background.
We were union organizers.
Yeah. So if you had talked to 23-year-old Wes about you need to be a good learn to be a good manager, I would have thought that was the enemy. But now I'm realizing we've learned a lot. I mean, I was objectively probably not the best manager in the very beginning, and I'm sure that I'm still have a lot to learn, of course. But I feel in the last couple of years I've been trying to step it up, and I'm taking this year I'm going to be taking being the employer of choice training program and other things. I'm realizing how important it is to provide a really good to be a really good manager, so as to help people deal with the inevitable stresses of this sort of work. And yeah, that's something I would not have thought of 10 years ago.
I think it's one of the most important things.
It is. I'm realizing
if you're going to have other people work for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm realizing we focus, and if you were to think about all the trainings and workshops we went to, everything was so technical about things like soil science and all that side of farming. But I'm realizing my big deficiency is that I'm trying to address is all the managerial side of things.
If you were aware of that when you started, do you think you would have done anything differently, or is just people management something that you've really needed the experience to learn from?
I mean, I'm sure experience is a huge teacher. There are the program that I'm taking. I wish I had taken it 5 years ago, certainly. I'm not sure. I remember my first manager job was when I was working at Hardy Roots Farm, and I'm sure I did a decent job, but I wish I had maybe gone into it more with asked if I could have more of what's the word? A mentor while doing that. I wish I instead of just saying yeah, I can manage a team of 6 people and just jumping in, I wish I had at that time sought out somebody who I could ask questions constantly. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, and I think also this season you've done more with structuring your feedback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, creating mechanisms for feedback.
Structure one-on-ones that happen at a regular interval, which is standard, or not standard business, but good general business practices. And it's cool to see that on the farm too.
Yeah.
Check in.
Yeah. Really making sure we start our day with a big meeting where we talk about not just what we're doing, but why we're doing it, how it fits into the bigger picture of our agenda. And regular check-ins. I think next year we'll do even more. And that was some of the feedback I got this week on our exit interviews is I think we can do a better job of communicating even more what not just what the tasks are for this week, but how the arc of the season goes overall. And I think that will actually help people be motivated, because that's one of the things I've been talking about with our manager is in mid-season, and everybody's stressed, and there is a lot of burnout, and it's important. Like we were talking about how, like if you have the big picture in mind, if you think like this needs to happen this week because next week we don't have time to do it because we've got these 6 other things to do next week, and if you just have like the bigger picture you can keep in your view, the more motivated you are, I think, to like really push hard.
Right, you understand that. You know
Yeah,
the
exactly.
season over season. You know the business. You know
Yeah.
what you need to be doing next week, but
Yeah.
your employee doesn't.
Yeah, and I get it. I mean,
maybe they
and,
know what's going on next week, but they don't understand the implications of a week later
Yeah.
seeding date. Like that's
yeah, you
critical.
can like you can spend an hour on the cultivating tractor this week, and if you don't get to it, it's going to be 5 hours with the hoe next week, and if you don't do it then, it's going to be 20 hours hand
right,
weeding the next
get on
week.
that tractor now, or you're owing.
And I mean, any shortcoming of that vision is, I think, on me. Like I need to be better communicating that.
Well, it takes time to explain all of that, and
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't feel value added. You're just like, all right, let's just get to the chase.
Yeah,
Let's get to work,
exactly.
you know?
It's right. You're tempted to just jump in, but yeah, we gotta make sure we're a cohesive team.
Yeah. What advice do you have for a beginning grower?
Well, I mean, it's a bit repetitive, but yeah, we tried a lot of different things at first, and I think it was important, first of all, to be willing to try a lot of different things, like a lot of different farmers markets, and building relationships with different landowners. It has been equally important, and the harder lesson has been knowing when to like walk away from something. We spent an entire year selling at a local farmers market. It was terrible, and we were never making as much money as it costs to be there, like paying for staffing and harvest time and all that. And I wish we had walked away a lot sooner. So yeah, it's been important. I feel like casting a wide net has been really important, but then also like learning how to walk away from the bad decision, or from the things that aren't good for the farm.
Well, it's hard to figure out, like, because it takes time to build up a reputation, or for people to know
Yeah.
you're there, and like to give it a valid chance, and then you don't want to cut that too soon.
Yeah, certainly.
But
It
at
is
the same
awkward.
time, you got to cut the losses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. to
Yeah,
balance.
no, right. You never know. And maybe we should have stayed with that farmer's market. I don't know. But yeah, that has been an important lesson. Just like knowing when to like cut something off, like make a decision where you're walking away from something unprofitable or something that's more cost than it's worth.
I think also, and then with that, sort of listening to your heart and your gut when you're like, well, it can be a hard decision, but sometimes, and it might be hard to choose, like, should I leave this farmer's market or not? But ultimately, if you're like, I don't enjoy this, that's like a huge thing where sometimes farming can be so hard. Like a lot of it is hard work, and you're like, I don't enjoy every second of it but that's farming. You got to like do the job till it's done, and don't think too much about it all the time. But overall, like I enjoy this for a variety of reasons. But with selling your produce, if you're spending a lot of time doing an outlet that like you just don't enjoy anymore, then like don't do it anymore, because it's gonna make you so unhappy. or pay someone else to do it, or like figure it out. That's an important thing. Is like it's not just a business; it's also your life, and you have to make sure you're enjoying it to some degree.
Yeah.
And I also think something that we did that's been helpful is just like make lots of friends. Just like be super friendly with other young farmers your age, and also like it's something I think if we could do again, I would have tried to do more, would be to find mentors in farming that we could call. Like I feel like Wes has a lot of folks that he can talk to about a variety of things, but I do feel like there were times when I didn't feel like we had like an elder who we could call on the phone or go visit and just be like, this is like, we're having trouble with this decision. And for them to like hear us, it's our kids' school. For our kids for like someone who has experience, who would be like, that we trust, that could like help us through decisions, or even just give advice on a variety of things. I think I can think of times when it would have been nice to have more of that. And we've like sort of started to develop some relationships, going to conferences and like glomming onto some older farmers that were like, oh, like we kind of know you, like. But I think that's something that I've seen like really help out other farmers our age, is having those mentor relationships. But having friends is a huge help. Like we're going to this thing this afternoon. We're going to see a couple friends and also going to see the younger folks getting into farming. So that'll be kind of nice. Nice to see. But in this area, in the Hudson Valley, there's a pretty rich culture of first generation farmers. Like we started around 2009, 2010, and there was this like big wave. And so some of those folks aren't farming anymore, but they're still around. But some of them are still farming. So we're kind of like getting to be the slightly older generation, but being able to talk to them, and like there's a community of people. We have like a listserv, the Hudson Valley Young Farmers Coalition. People share, they ask questions, people post jobs, people are looking for stuff, looking for advice. And there's like I think a pretty open, collaborative mindset, which I think is a great mindset that I always encourage people to have in general. Just like, to be honest when you have an issue, because you'll find that other people are experiencing the same thing. You know, don't try to present your farm as perfect all the time, especially if you can find a few friends you trust and you can actually like say, you know, we're like really struggling with this thing, or like we feel like this is like we're failing at this, and then your friends could actually have an answer for you, or be like, no, like do it this way, and it actually like we did this and it worked. And you never know when you can get solutions that way.
Or you're right, the spring sucked. I had terrible germination.
Yeah.
too.
And they're like, yeah, me too, exactly. Yeah. We did have that actually. Like we're at the market, we're like complaining to somebody, and they're like, me too. Like my carrots are ruined. We're like, oh, ours too. The flood took them. We're like, yeah. We're like, okay, it's not just us.
Yeah. There's a lot of weight to those conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, knowing you're not alone actually helps a lot.
Along those lines, what fulfills you in this career? What keeps you going?
Ultimately, I mean, I love every element of the job. It's very stressful. We don't make a lot of money. I'm also often feel frustrated by, you know, all the various things that go wrong. But ultimately, I love farming, and I can't ever imagine doing something different. I love being outside. I mean, being outside all the time, working in the dirt is great. Sometimes it's like muddy and cold, and you wish you were sitting at a computer. But ultimately, it's great to just be, working with my body outside. My favorite element is, I think, problem solving. We have not just like, there's like systems problem solving where like we have some task and we get to, you spend even just a minute thinking about what's going to be the most efficient way to do this. That's really fun. And just the diversity of the work allows for like a lot of those problem solving moments. So any given day, we might be doing 10 different things. And so that's an opportunity. Obviously, we like remember the way we did it last time, but nonetheless, the diversity of the workload allows for constant like challenging yourself to think about better ways to do things. And then I love fixing things. I enjoy. We have a nice little like workspace in the barn, and I kind of like it when things break and I have to fix them. We're lucky. Okay.
That's good.
When we got our second tractor, that was like really nice, because then if something broke down, it was an imposition, but it wasn't like it didn't shut down the farm. So now like we had our other tractor had a something in the hydraulic, not the hydraulic pump, but actually like where the hydraulic pump attaches to the engine block broke. So we had to like take apart the whole tractor, replace that part of the engine, and so the tractor was down for a couple of weeks while we were like waiting for parts to arrive. But I really liked it. I like taking apart the tractor, learning how it worked. It's been fun. I mean, I don't have I've never been to like diesel mechanic school or anything. So every time something breaks, it's an opportunity to learn how something works.
That is another actually piece of advice for new growers is like it's not just the vegetables, you have to think about your whole infrastructure. So like you're gonna find yourself, if you have a cool bot, it's gonna like just not work one day and you're gonna be standing there in front of it like, oh no, like so either like really learning about mechanics or like having someone on your team, or maybe it's your partner or your dad or your mom, like whoever, like everyone's got somebody who they can call, because like Wes is amazing at fixing everything, and I think about that all the time of like, man, if you didn't have those skills, it's like so limiting for like there'd just be so much downtime when stuff is broken, because stuff is always breaking. And so having those skills, either yourself or someone you can count on, is like a huge leg up.
Yeah, and if you know the basics,
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff that breaks is like, oh, that's not a big deal because you know how to do it.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to do anything, all of a sudden you get a flat tire and you might as well split the tractor. You're down.
Yeah.
I feel like self-confidence is the main tool, because you can figure out how anything works, how to repair anything using like YouTube and other like Google. The number of like tractor forums are so cool. Like I can post some really esoteric thing of like, I have this model tractor and it's making this weird sound in this part, and within 6 hours some old timer will respond with like a long list of like what you need to do, and it's cool. So the knowledge is out there. It's just, I guess, having the self-confidence to know, like, I can take this apart and fix it. I know how to use tools, and that's all you need.
And having friends can be helpful too.
Yeah.
Call. There's been 1 or 2 times when something's broken and you've called someone and be like, what did you do?
Yeah, for sure.
Any advice on how to make those friends you've mentioned a few times?
I think, unless you have immediate ideas, but things like...
Hudson Valley is like a hotbed for local farms, so we're very lucky in that way. When we started, we had both like the Craft Network, which is the creating regional apprentice farm training. Something like that.
Collaboration for regional apprenticeship farm training.
Yeah, so they were just like weekly or bi-weekly farm tours, and so we got to know a lot of other people. Not only getting to see other farms, which is like meeting other people in our sort of cohort or experience level was great. And like Bryn said, now 15 years later, we're still friends with a lot of those people who are now running their own farms. The Young Farmers Coalition has been fantastic. We were organizers for our chapter for a number of years. We've now stepped back in the last few years, and it's still going strong with a new group of leaders. But that was that's where like we met tons of people. And when we started farming, we moved to the Hudson Valley. So in other words, our first farm year, we didn't have a single friend in the area. So literally 100% of our friends were like made through farming.
Yeah, through the farm tours.
So it was all through that.
Social events. Yeah, like one thing, like a mindset of like, if you're at a farm, say you're vending at a farmer's market, seeing the other farmers there as friends and not like being afraid to talk to them because you think they're going to hate you because you're selling veggies also, but being as friendly as you can. Some people have trouble, but just approaching in a like kinship way of like, we're both farmers, and like just trying to share information and say hi and talk about. Yeah, because like we have just friendly interpersonal relationships with like for the most part, all the other farmers at our market, and it's nice. We just like chat with each other, and we see each other as friends and not competitors, really, because there's enough people to feed. there's like an endless need for people to eat, so you don't have to worry if like you're both selling tomatoes. Like, who cares? Just try to.
Yeah, and we both benefit from a strong market, and the more good vendors there are, within reason.
Yeah.
The stronger the market is. So I don't think.
But I'm using that as like an analogy, really, a way to like.
Okay. Yeah.
Because like if you just have that mindset all around, I think that is really helpful and gets you, like, people see you as like a friendly, collaborative person, then you'll like, the channels are open to make more friends. And also like throw a party, or if someone's like, we need to host Cornell Cooperative Extension, in New York at least, they're like looking to host an event, like, maybe throw your hand up. And like, it's hard and it's like time consuming, but it's always a good thing to be part of those, like throw an event or go to the events, or like be willing, like, I don't know, host a garlic day at your farm, or like, if they're looking for presenters for a thing, you know, have some confidence that you have something useful to say and people hear about you.
We also, like, I mean, a couple years ago, we were still feeling like we had a lot to learn about winter production. So we reached out to a handful of other winter greens producers and hosted some like little get-togethers just where we could like have an open chat. And it was like, in the back of our heads, we're like, these are the people who are competing for the same customers as us. So there was some, awareness of that, but then also we just, we realized there's enough demand out there that we're not competitors. And we learned a lot from other folks.
Fun. Yeah, we should do that again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I want to be mindful of time. That was most of my questions. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to share?
I mean, I just want to say, if it didn't come through in the things we've said thus far, we have been so lucky to have a lot of support from a ton of people. And I don't want to, while we talk about the importance of like hard work and all like the hard decisions we've made and all that, like I know that we wouldn't be here without a lot of luck and a lot of good relationships. So I'm not, there's always like, I think the risk of presenting too much of a like pull yourself up by the bootstraps sort of thing, when it is important to work hard, but I don't want to take all the credit. Like we've lucked out in some ways, and I want to recognize that.
Yeah. It's kind of like more of a nitty gritty detail, but I don't want to pass up the chance to just advocate for people having a bookkeeper. And again, it was like a luck thing. I have like a little bit of business or finance and business experience from my job working in a food production facility and dealing with some of the finance side of it. But we just we didn't have QuickBooks or anything for like 8 years or so, or 7 years. And then we had an amazing CSA member reach out and just be like, I love you guys so much. If you ever need bookkeeping help, I'm a bookkeeper. I could like do some barter, some pay. And I just jumped at that opportunity.
Like, actually.
I was like, you came at the exact right time.
Yeah.
And because of her.
And she was like blown away by the complexity of all of our
it was
like, how do you do this?
It's very educational. She's like, you have how many currencies that people pay you in? And like, oh my God, like the state, you like, yeah. She was just like, what? It's like, it's very complicated. She's like, you should feel kind of overwhelmed, because it is a little bit overwhelming. But she helped me set up our QuickBooks, which is a huge hurdle. And really, unless you're a QuickBooks Pro, I wouldn't recommend doing it by yourself. But if you have someone in the community who's a bookkeeper, give you a discount, because it can be expensive, but it is worth it.
At least get you set up.
Yeah.
Get you set up, and then be there to help you like on a monthly basis, or like train you. Like I can do our journal entries, and I can reconcile our books because she taught me how to do all that. But having everything in QuickBooks and being able to pull up a P&L and a balance sheet whenever we need to, my goal for even doing it, even getting everything in QuickBooks, was to help us be able to make a decision. Like when Wes, if it's like July and he's just like, we're so behind and I really wish we could hire someone, we could actually look and see where we're at and be like, oh, it looks like we're on track, that we can afford to hire someone, and make the decision more confidently than just like emotionally, or just always be like, no, we can't. Because actually seeing our books has always been actually for us, like, oh, okay, we're doing okay. Like, whereas without it, you're like, oh, like you don't really know. So I really think it's important you don't have to do it right away. You don't need QuickBooks in your maybe first year or two. If you have a small CSA, don't like sweat it. But at some point, it's really, really, it pays to to have that system in place and get a little bit of financial literacy, have someone help you understand how to read a profit and loss statement and a balance sheet. So you just like have ideas of how your business is going. I think that's been really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It has been emotionally sustainable in that way because it is helpful to me in like the height of the summer for Bryn to be able to say like, no, look, we're doing okay.
Right.
Just,
Right.
and even, I mean, like the other day or this past week, we gave bonuses to folks at the end of the season. And I mean, we've always given bonuses, but I've never actually known, like, it's not until later that I'm like, oh crap, we gave out too much money. So now it was good to have a sense of like where we stood.
Yeah.
That seems really obvious, but yeah. I mean, I will admit, I don't think we're that, nobody wants to admit it, but I think many farms were in the position we were in where we really did not have a good financial sense of the farm.
No. Until we did our taxes.
Yeah, we would do our taxes.
We do our
and be
Schedule
like,
F.
this is how much money we made.
Yeah.
And it might have been $20,000 or $50,000. And like, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that probably common?
I'd like to think that's not uncommon. I don't know. We're better now.
Try to get to it before year 8. I would recommend try to get there like year 4 if you can.
Get your feet underneath your 1 and 2.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, I had someone who's like brand new who was like, should I get QuickBooks? I was like, what are you doing? Like, it's just like,
Find your market first.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Just don't worry too much about it. Get the money in the bank account and then like make sure you have something. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, our very first year, when it was just a part-time job, when it was just like a nights and weekends business, we spent, like, I think our net profit at the end of it, like, I think our revenue was like $10,000. It was just a hobby thing. And I think our net profit was like $1,000. And we paid somebody to do our taxes, and it was like $600 for them to do our business taxes. And we were just like, wow, that was a terrible idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, we're trying to get in with Farm Credit East this year because we have an accountant that is, we chose her because she has some like knowledge of farms, which is really important for an accountant to have like farm experience because there's all these like programs and like tax. I don't know. There's all this stuff that you need to know for farms. It's different than other businesses, but I think people have been telling me, they're like, you need to get Farm Credit East as your tax prepares because they'll like find you money. They'll even look at the last 5 years of your tax returns. Someone told me he was like, they got me $20,000 back that I hadn't realized I'd like overpaid. I was like, oh, interesting. But yeah, that part of it. The other thing is too, like thinking about the whole picture. If you like thinking about like, okay, I'm on the farm, I'm running this business, but like, how do I have healthcare, or like, how do I have backup finance, and just like thinking of your whole life as part of the picture. Like if your partner is someone who has a job and like you get healthcare through them, just to see that as like, that's really great. And like, you're taking care of yourself if you have that kind of situation, and not to think of it as like some sort of like, I don't know, you know what I'm trying to say, like a privilege that other people don't have or something, but like you need to take care, just make sure you're taking care of your like very basic needs, because the farm, at least in the first 5 years or so, is like you just don't know what's going to happen, you know, and you don't want to have an accident or get sick and then like everything falls apart. You want to make sure you're like, you know how you're going to pay medical bills. It's easier said than done, but like it's a real thing that can be the difference between like keeping going and not.
And that was the Farmer's Share. I hope you enjoyed this episode with Bryn and Wes of Solid Ground Farm. The Farmer's Share is supported by a grant offered by the USDA Specialty Crop Block Program from the Vermont Agency of Agriculture, Food, and Markets. This funding helps to cover some of my time and travel in order to produce this podcast until March of 2026. The USDA Agricultural Marketing Service supports projects that address the needs of U.S. specialty crop growers and strengthens local and regional food systems. I have no doubt that this podcast will meet those needs and help educate growers to support the industry. If you enjoy this show and want to help support its programming, you can make a one-time or reoccurring donation on our website by visiting thefarmershare.com/support. We also receive funding from the Vermont Vegetable and Berry Growers Association. The VVBGA is a nonprofit organization funded in 1976 to promote the economic, environmental, and social sustainability of vegetable and berry farming in Vermont. Their membership includes over 400 farms across Vermont and beyond, as well as about 50 businesses and organizations that provide products and services of all types to their members. Benefits to members include access to the VVBGA listserv to buy, sell plants and equipment, share farming information, and tap the vast experience of our growers. Access the Community Accreditation for Produce Safety, also known as CAPS. This program is designed for growers, by growers, to help you easily meet market and regulatory food safety expectations. You can access the VVBGA's Soil Health Platform, where you can organize all the soil tests and create and store your soil amendment plans and records. Access to webinars for growers in the VVBGA annual meeting. An email subscription to the Vermont Vegetable and Berry newsletter. Camaraderie, enhanced communication, and fellowship among commercial growers. Memberships are on a per farm, per calendar year basis, and annual dues this year are $80. These funds pay for the organization's operating costs and support educational programs and research projects. These funds also support projects that address grower needs around ag engineering, high tunnel production, pest management, pollinators, produce safety, and soil health. Become a member today to be a part of and further support the veg and berry industry. You can visit thefarmershare.com to listen to previous interviews or see photos, videos, or links discussed from the conversation. If you don't want to miss the next episode, enter your email address on our website and you'll get a note in your inbox when the next one comes out. The Farmer's Share has a YouTube channel with videos from several of the farm visits. We're also on Instagram, and that's where you can be reminded about the latest episode or see photos from the visit. Lastly, if you're enjoying the show, I'd love it if you could write a review. In Apple Podcasts, just click on the show, scroll down to the bottom, and there you can leave 5 stars and a comment to help encourage new listeners to tune in. I'd also encourage you to share this episode with other grower friends or crew who you think would be inspiring for them. Thanks for listening.